Hey folks, Dave from Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy's dead.
And today, Nerdarchy would like to welcome you to the Museum of the Macabre and its curator, Empusia, Curator of Souls.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, so we got a bit of a review, a deep dive, but this time the product is actually from us, from Nerdarchy. You can get it at the Nerdarchy store, and you can get it for free. There will be a link down in the description. It is Empusia, Curator of Souls, is the name of the PDF. It's 11 pages, and it is basically a free month of our Patreon rewards that we're giving away, so you guys can check it out and see what we've got going on over there. So we start off with our Lost Lore, and that is actually the arch devil herself, Empusia, Curator of Souls.
So now there's a whole lot of lore on who this awesome archdevil is. And her whole thing is art and inspiration. And you kind of get into it and it sounds like, oh, she's a pretty awesome stand-up gal. But she's a devil and she owns the Museum of the Macabre. So if you had seen the video that we had done on that a while back, this is the one behind it all. And she is one twisted... Insert expletive here.
Yeah. Well, and actually, before we even get into that, this has actually been written by Sean McGovern based on the video we did. And the art is from Nelson Vieira. So I want to give credit where credit is due. And really, Sean did an awesome job of taking our ideas and turning them into something. So, the couple, bullet points to know about Empusia is the way she works. She likes to work through hags, contracts, abduction, and traps. She has a goal, a lifelong goal. It's a small one. She's just a girl that loves a boy and wants to get married.
Yeah, I mean, just so happens, she loves the king of the hells,
So she's got her eyes set on courting Asmodeus, and, she figures if she can garner enough power that she can make this happen. And let's face it, her motives are pure and simple. She's a devil. She craves power. So being the queen of all of hell is the most powerful position you can find yourself in. So, she's got goals, and she's working towards them.
Every artist, they choose a medium. Some like stone, some prefer painting. Her thing is, mortals and souls.
Yeah, there's a really awesome thing in here where it goes into the paints that are extracted from various souls and their alignments, and what alignments produce what colors for doing that.
So that's a fun little addendum, little thing to add, and I thought that was a nice touch that Sean did.
Oh yeah, it's one of many nice touches. Empusia herself is a challenge 22. I'm not going to go through all the stats because, well, you can just go download it for free.
Yeah.
Now getting into the next section, affectionately referred to as the Mage Forge. And, our Mage Forge series is where we like to, improv, create magic items. In this case, Sean took a look at our video and he came up with 6 different magic items. The Infernal Brush of Empusia, Ink of Forging, Painting of Respite,
the Painting of Immortalization, the Ring of Empusia herself, and Soul Weave Garments.
And the soul weave garments, have different effects depending on the alignment of the soul they're weaved from. And it also tells you how you might free said souls as well if you happen to be a paladin or a cleric.
Our monster menagerie is the set of devils that Empusia has created to be her servants. And that's a Clavichord devil. And these guys are all about going and finding magic items to be able to get that core essence of magic and bring it back to her so that she can work with it.
Well, yeah, so they've got this odd thing where they have a bunch of mouths tattooed on them, and they find magic items, but they don't just find them and bring them back. No, they find them and eat them, essentially. Eat the magic out of the residuum, right? And then, but they have this hunger that can never be sated, But then they have this other thing where they get to where like a break point, and then they vomit up the Residium, and that's how it gets extracted from them. Now, if you happen to be an artist that who's fallen in with Impusia, there's a good possibility you're going to end up being one of these Clavichord devils at some point. You know, and they're her favorite servants, and like Ted said, they go out, they find the stuff of magic in order for Impusia and her artists to work with, as well as find immortals as well.
Now, you know, perhaps, you know, you want to use Impusia as a major plot point for your game, but you aren't certain how to mix it in. Clavichord Devils, you know, they're out on a general mission to find magic items. And if you're looking to kind of tweak the nose of your party and possibly eat some of their lesser powered magic items, you know, these are cool monsters that could help limit the power of your players by having them steal some of these things. So it's a cool way to get it in there, and then once they begin research on what these things are, you can then slowly begin to seed the elements of Impusia into your game, and voila, now she's an element in your world.
Well, or you might need a patron for a Warlock pack, and she would fit that role nicely, especially if said Warlock was artistically inclined. And she does have a bit of a soft spot for bards.
So our friend or foe is Sabazios, and this is kind of like Impusia's right hand, as this is the one who is kind of the curator of the museum to some degree, the one that's going to walk around and, oh, I'm just going to casually show you around the museum while you're walking around.
Well, and that's kind of like his stick too, like giving tours of the museum. Your party can encounter him and not fight him, but there are certain things that trigger him that set him off, and then he will attack them. And then if he's destroyed, there's a thing that brings him back from the dead. And when he encounters the party, he will treat them as if nothing happened. so he's a little bit of an odd bird that way. And, you know, so there's ways to use him not only as an enemy to fight, but also just as an NPC to introduce and really freak out your players as he's giving the tour for the Museum of the Macabre.
And he himself, and we're not going to get into the description because, again, you can go download it for free. You know, he's an odd duck. And as you go and you can role play with this guy, and it's always nice to have something that is a good role play in a dungeon-esque scenario. And it doesn't matter whether they kill him or not, because unless they find the implement that allows him to keep coming back, he's just going to come back.
Now, our terrible terrain is the Museum of the Macabre itself. And, like, so Sean really outdid himself here, touching the artwork section, the Infernal Pond, Hall of Scoundrels,
Blasphemous Embrace, Budding Stems, the Graves of the Heroes. That one is just creepy and awesome, if you ask me.
There's the Triptych of Madness. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But
Triptych of Madness, which is, you know, a three-sectioned painting, which that's kind of creepy too. You have the Blank Canvas, which I think is just awesome. You have Art Class, which is downright hysterical. And then, last but not least, the basement.
What's in the basement? So I guess real quick, we'll just talk about Blank Canvas and Art Class, just because they're just funny.
So the way Blank Canvas works is they walk into a section of the museum where the walls, fairly low to the ground, are just blank. And as they go into the room, blades spring out and attack the legs and ankles of the characters as they walk through, and it splatters their blood on the canvas. And whoever has the highest constitution, their painting or their blood splatters are the most interesting or beautiful,
most artistic.
So it's kind of cool that, you know, it's kind of, how does it you know, it's like an abstract expressionist painting based off of the their blood splatters. So it's pretty interesting.
Now the other one is the art class, and this is a bunch of Clavichord devils, and they when the players show up, they actually think the players are their models that they're supposed to be rendering, and if they find out you're not, there's a bribe mechanism. There's also the idea that you can try and trick them and pose as their models to kind of get through the encounters. So it's really interesting. And it's not the encounters that Sean came up with are a lot of fun, and it's not all just like fight monsters, kill, get stuff. Like there's some really interesting things, and he put a lot of thought into these.
Yeah. So like as an alternative, to that, there is something else that's in here that you can do. If you wind up being the model, you can see what horrific things the Clavichord devils paint or sculpt the characters as. So it's a lot of fun what they wind up doing there.
Yeah, so mechanically there's some cool things. But hey, go over to Nerdarchy, the store. Check it out. You can download it for free. You have to go through the checkout process like you normally would, but there's no cost for anything. And we actually don't do anything with your email or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. But hey, what do you think? After you go download it, come back and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about it. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
As Dave says, head over to nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.